Hello crew, today's our Hero Spirit experience. We're going to take a deep dive on the Wild Rose Gin. We're also going to have a guided tasting from our head distiller to my right. And we're also going to find out how she recommends having it as a gin and tonic. Let's get into it. G'day, my name is Jack Beach. I work here at the Head Distillery in North Melbourne, Australia. So we have a very special guest, the founder, head distiller and owner of Head Spirits, Liz Beach.
Hello crew.
So Liz is also my mum. We are a family-run distillery here. If you're interested in finding out the crew, head to the link below and have a read about it. Otherwise, as always, would appreciate a like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content. So Liz, let's go back to the very start. Can you tell the crew what got you into distilling in the first place?
Well, Jack, 11 years ago, I was travelling overseas with Eloise, my daughter, your sister. We were in Scotland. Eloise wanted a break from me, so she booked me into a gin making class. That led to then seeing how much gin had boomed in the UK and America. I came back to Australia and booked myself into Moonshine University, which is in Louisville, Kentucky, and that's where I found my still.
Excellent. And that was a number of years ago now. You were one of the early pioneers of gin in Melbourne, so well done to you.
Thank you.
On to the Wild Rose Gin. Can you tell everyone what was inspiration behind this award-winning Australian gin?
The Wild Rose is our salute to Melbourne. It's 4 seasons in one mouthful. So different botanicals to represent the different seasons.
Excellent. We're going to find out more about those botanicals when we have our guided tasting shortly. But before that, just briefly, can you tell everyone about your other favourite child, your Copperpot Still?
So Eliza Jane is made by Vendome, and Vendome is 5th generation coppersmiths in Louisville. I knew that I was going to call my first gin the Wild Rose. Bit of a Nick Cave, Kylie Minogue fan. The line of the song was, they called me the Wild Rose, but my name was Eliza Jane.
Of course, classic song. And lastly, just briefly before the tasting, can you tell everyone what's special about the Wild Rose Gin and the distillation process behind it?
I had Vendome add to Eliza a second column, which incorporated a vapour basket in there. So when we're distilling the Wild Rose Gin, that vapour basket is filled with rosebuds, and that flavour from that delicate flavour from that is then extracted with vapour.
Excellent. Very interesting stuff. We're now going to jump into our guided tasting. So if you haven't already, get your Wild Rose Gin out of your welcome pack, pour a little taster for you to start, and Liz is going to take us through a tasting like she would here at the distillery.
Okay, so when you're tasting a gin, tasting it neat like this, we're going to take a sip of it, hold it on your tongue just for a second, and then swallow. After you swallow, then breathe out. And then when you do that breathing out, you are dispersing those botanicals that you held on your tongue, and you can try to develop your palate and identify those different flavours. With the Wild Rose, we've got rose in there for spring, strawberry and plum for summer, citrus for autumn, and for winter is wattle seed. Wattle seed is what's known as a warming botanical. So wattle seed's in there to give you some warmth for winter.
Excellent. I can taste that warmth. I can taste those 4 seasons. Hopefully you guys can too. Now we're going to make ourselves a gin and tonic. Can you tell everyone how you recommend making the gin and tonic with the Wild Rose Gin?
Wild Rose is what's known as a delicate gin. To get that rose flavour to come through, we had to back right off on the juniper. So it has the minimum amount of juniper that is required. And to get that, be able to taste those delicate flavours, when you're having a tonic, I suggest that you dilute it 50% with soda water. Tonic water, like Schweppes yellow labelled tonic water, that has more sugar in it than Coke. So if you dilute it with the soda water, you are dispersing that sugar. And that sugar tends to mask those delicate flavours, but also that sugar really fills you up as well. So if you are having diluting it with the soda water, then that way you can drink more. And that's really important to the industry.
As always, drink responsibly, of course. So I've started making these gin tonics here. You can get your copper jigger if you're part of the crew. We're just pouring a standard drink into these, so the top half of the jigger there. I've just used some of the dehydrated orange, which again is in your kit that you should be able to use. If you're using fresh orange, which is how I'd also recommend having it. Make sure you give it a good muddle as well. So we've poured those in, and as Mum said, we're having a gin and sonic. So we're going to do half tonic, half soda. Get your Fever Tree can if you're using that for this. These are 150 ml, so good to make 2 drinks if you're doing half in each. As Mum said, a lower sugar content tonic is going to be much better. So Fever Tree, relatively low sugar content. The other one is Long Rays that we use here at the distillery too. Much lower sugar content than some of the others out there. So we've done our half tonic. We're then going to do half soda.
Looking good, Jack.
Thank you. And lastly, before serving, give it another good stir. So if you're interested in finding out more about the Hazelnut U crew, head to the link below. Otherwise, as always, we'd love a like and subscribe. Otherwise, until next time, here's looking at you, crew. Cheers.
Cheers, crew.
Delicious.